Hey.
Hey, there is a good chance that you might be experiencing a range of emotions regarding the situation that you're in right now. And I'm no expert and I'm no professional, but I can tell you that what you might be experiencing right now, millions of people all over the world are experiencing the same thing: confusion, fear, feeling as if they're being incarcerated or held against their will. Uh, and you may also experience a sense of strange freedom and giddiness at all of this, and that is a normal reaction when you are in shock. Uh, this is a very shocking experience for all of us, and um, it's normal to feel sort of to go from day to day to have these different ranges of
Yeah.
emotions.
We've been going through all of them
Yeah.
ourselves. In fact, earlier we were in another part of, well, we've gone out today, and we're in the middle of a city, but we're in the middle of nature. We found our way to a natural space that we really like. Um, and other people have done the same, to recharge. But we were in a more urban setting, and I felt a sense of giddiness, and I was telling Julie that, and I said, and I think, I'm experiencing some low level shock going on right now too, and I've been going through a range of emotions, but I think because, if you can self-diagnose and if you can start seeing what's going on for your own eyes and of what's really happening, it blunts the the highs and lows.
Yeah, it really does. Um, we are not fear mongers, we are not scaremongers, we are not chicken littling about this, but we are telling you that in some ways it feels as though the legislative body has abandoned us. We were in a market area before we came here in the downtown area, and one of the one of the staffers that runs a tiny little grocery store that has, some bananas and toilet paper and, a couple things. He said that all of the McDonald's across the nation are shuttering, are closing. So you have to think about, what that means. And who says pigs don't fly? So that's, so you have to think about what that means. When the government is buying everything up, that's National Socialism. That's fascism.
Well,
And
when they're doing it
yeah,
and not benefiting the people,
right. So the
just
people will not benefit. That's why we're being sort of left to our own devices.
except for the
Except for the
surveillance.
surveillance helicopters overhead.
Yeah.
When we're trying to
So,
be out here being calm and sitting in the middle of the woods, So you're experiencing a range of emotions. You're experiencing shock. You're experiencing sadness. You're experiencing probably you're probably getting a little stir crazy. Um, you know,
well,
and,
and if you haven't been listening to what we've been talking about by text or by audio, what we've been saying is that basically the Federal Reserve Bank and the U.S. government, the state, I guess combined together, they would be the state, are either loaning money to business, both small and large, or outright buying shares and buying part and parcel of these large corporations. And before all this economic shit started going down, a lot of the CEOs from some of the biggest companies stepped down. They sold their shares and got their money, and they stepped down and left. And we are sort of under the we're thinking that possibly McDonald's is one of them, I think, and Starbucks might have been on. These are the places that have been shut that are national chains. Whereas there's other ones like Subways and some of the smaller chains that are
Dunkin'
local.
Donuts was open.
Dunkin' Donuts was
That's
open.
weird, right?
And a bagel shop that's like a sort of a regional
Yeah, it's
area.
only local, local.
They were open.
But one of the things that these workers in these different, little sort of eating places that we stepped into, we bought a bagel, we went into the market and bought toilet paper, just 2 rolls. We left most of the toilet paper that was already
Yeah.
there. It was still mostly already there when we left. Um, we, everybody we talked, nobody's talking about being afraid of getting sick. People are afraid of how they're going to make their car payment. The one dude looked terrified when he said that all of the McDonald's across the nations have shuttered and they may not open again. That's a lot of jobs,
a lot of Mick jobs, but
a lot of McJobs that'll be out of there.
They still mean a lot to the people who work there.
Walking along the very, open and empty streets and sidewalks, the conversations that we're picking up on are things like, I have enough food to probably last me maybe another couple of months. I have just enough money to get me through for another couple of months. I'm not hearing anybody talk about being afraid of getting sick or getting a virus. What I'm hearing is that
fiscal concerns
and how people are going to eat,
Yeah. Food
JP and I
supply.
have our own concerns, financial, and it looks like our bus service might be either going away or at least drastically changing things, the measures by which we can, wander.
And that's why we came out here today, because we're not sure how much longer. This is the bus is the only way we can get out to this place that
Right.
we've been to many times. We love it here.
Yeah.
But the bus is the way we get here.
Is by bus. It takes an hour by bus.
And
you know.
if that goes away, then we will not have access to this any longer, because it's too far for
to
us
just
to
walk here.
walk or
ride
even
a
ride a
bike.
bicycle. Yeah.
So we have to drastically rethink the way that we function in society. And I am not one of those people that will tell you, well, just do this and just do that. Because you have to discover who you are and you have to figure out what's best for you. We're looking at a 30% unemployment rate in the coming months. We're also looking at the most jobs that have ever been, the most unemployment applications in the history of time were today, which is Thursday, March 27th, 26th?
Today's the 26th.
26th, so, 2020. So, these are some real life issues. We're looking at some really strange circumstances. People don't know how they're going to pay their rent. And everybody's going through a lot of anxiety. And then not only are you going through all of this anxiety anyway, but you can't get together with your friends and talk about it. They're keeping you from getting together with the people that could help you, friends and family. You can't go out to dinner and talk about how you guys can work together to come up with solutions that are outside of a job that you maybe just lost. Your solution had always been, well, the paycheck that I get will cover my utilities, it will cover my rent, and then maybe there's a little bit left over. Well, that's gone away, or it's going away. And so everybody's looking for the government to help them, but the government has abandoned you. The government's been abandoning you for a while. And there's that sense of, that real sense of sadness and that real deep, deep heartache, that the thing that you always thought you could count on is not there for you. And that sense of just bewilderment and shock that you're in this situation. And not only are you in this terrible situation, but then you're incarcerated. You're stuck inside. You're being told that, you can't talk to anybody about this.
The one place that we found conversation did happen and where people were still able to exchange ideas and talk about what's happening
and engage critical thought.
is on the bus. And
You know?
people on the bus are just as confused as you are.
They're utterly confused. I mean,
And-
all the people that we take the bus with are really poor, really, really poor. Poor people missing teeth, wandering, like trying to figure out what's going on. They're the kind of people that they couch surf or they, do you know what
Or
I'm
in their
saying?
halfway houses
In their
or
halfway
something.
houses, and they're just not sure what the heck's going on, and they feel abandoned as well. So not everybody feels the same way about the situation. Some people feel perfectly normal and like eventually it's all going to kind of go back to normal eventually. Oh no, it's on us. It's okay. Some people think it's going to go back to normal, and that life as they know it will continue to go on, and it's not. That's life as you know it will never be the same. There's a good chance that your child will never have the same kind of schooling that they had before, since everything's become nationalized. They'll get a curriculum that's, confirmed by the government,
Digitalized.
They'll-
Digitized, I guess.
yeah, so we're also going to be headed into digital currency in the very near future. There's hundreds of people today walking around finally getting some sun with the blue skies and everything, and vitamin D absorbing into your skin. All that stuff is really important. But that might go away too.
Right.
Not that the blue skies will go
Well-
away, but the access to nature.
On our walk
Might go
today,
away.
Julie was, the access is what I was concerned about.
Yeah.
Julie said, "Are you afraid that all this is going to go away?" And I said, "No, this will remain, but our access to it may."
Yeah, but
and-
we'll figure out a way because
Yeah.
we're really industrious, because we tend to think things through, unlike a lot of people who just, don't think about how to survive outside of
their own paradigm, or
their own paradigm or a lifestyle or a life that has been packaged for you. The package is gone, so you have to figure out how to feed yourself differently, how to get exercise differently, how to communicate differently, but that's up to you. I can't tell you how to do it. Where to put your money differently, how to access your money differently, how to make money differently, like all of this stuff.
No, well, and we're figuring it out ourselves too as
Right,
we
and
go along.
we actually started the process a few years ago, probably about 4 years ago, because we kept our finger to the wind and we knew that this day was coming. We're in fascism. It's not scary like, jackbooted thugs, throwing me into the clink or throwing me into the gulag type of scary. But we have a national socialism now where every part of your life belongs to the government, and it's in the interest of the security state. That's why they passed the Defense Production Act under FEMA. So everything has to do with, the security
Right,
state.
and that's the other
So-
side of forcing everybody in, is not only can you not talk to each other in person, but now you can't talk to each other without this device.
Right, so they're funneling, your Pilates class. They're funneling your the way you shop for groceries. They're funneling the way your children get an education. They're funneling the way you want to talk to grandma, who lives just 2 blocks away in a nursing home. Everything is funneled into your device, so your whole world will be through your device, which then is property of the government, which is property of the state. So they can listen in on every phone call you have, and every Skype call you have, and every web search you do for, those gummy bears you want, or, whatever.
Right.
And that loss of autonomy and that loss of
Privacy.
sacred sense of the self and sacred agency is sad indeed, because many people will willingly just give it up, and they'll use the old mantra, well, I don't have anything to hide anyway.
Right.
Well, then you're not really a person.
Because we all have something to hide.
But
It may not be something that's
bad.
exactly.
It just means that we're allowed to have private thoughts
Right.
and private moments.
Right.
Those are the things that help calm us through trying dystopic times like these. You need those moments of calm in your brain by yourself, and your device and your social media presence puts you in an addictive feedback loop. So you always need that there, but you don't. I don't have it today.
And we didn't bring it. We brought one without a SIM card, so
Yeah, we
we're
don't
recording.
have-
We're pre-recording this. and then
I'm
we'll-
not checking in. I'm
Yeah.
not listening to voicemail. I'm not checking text messages. I'm not responding to Twitter, comments. I'm not responding to Facebook or whatever. I'm just resetting myself because I know that right now our economy and the government is going through a huge reset
Yeah.
on a big, big global
A
scale.
hard reset.
A hard reset. And it's time to reset your own life as well. And how are you going to occupy the space in this strange new, brave new world that we're living in?
Mhm.
So how do you want to occupy your own space in this world?
In your own time.
I'm still figuring it out for myself.
Mhm.
I think I'll probably figure it out for the rest of my life. But
Well, I was thinking as you were talking about, people would say, oh, meditate and things like that. And I was thinking about it, so I used to have a meditation practice that I'll probably pick up again. The problem is that it's hard to have a solo meditation practice. You do need to have times when you are with other people. And I used to go to a Zen center, and we would have, Zazen, it would be a thing together. And that led me to the thought, churches are closed and spiritual centers are closed.
it's really sad.
And so people who
awful.
depend on these means of socializing and recharging spiritually are probably going to be having some of the hardest times that we're going through, because just like everybody else, but because there's a sense of community, there's a sense of fellowship and spirituality that goes along with these experiences. They've been taken away along with all the other things
Yeah.
that Julie and I appreciate, like museums and coffee shops and bookstores and record stores and whatever. A trip to IKEA is sometimes a fun thing, but they may be open, but why bother going? Because really there's not a lot of money right now, and there's really it may be closed. I don't know. But the point is what I'm trying to say is
Doesn't
that
matter.
it doesn't really matter, because
Yeah.
these things have been taken away from us, and they're going to continue taking away from us, and we have to find other means, other ways of connecting without our digital devices.
It's ironic that Sweden isn't doing anything. They're not social distancing. They're not quarantining. They're not closing their borders. They're doing nothing.
Yeah.
They're just going about life.
Well, I also think, though, that
Isn't
they're
that weird?
that
Yeah.
they're also kind of part of the center of this too, because you've got Sweden is the center of the whole green
Fascism.
green fascism movement with Greta. It's at the center of all that, but Denmark and Norway,
Norway
which
are-
were once under the once were part of Sweden, the Swedish kingdom. Now they're their own entities, and they have been for hundreds of years. But they are closed down. They're blocked off. So it's very strange. The places that are still open and the ones that are not.
Yeah, I think that what's going to happen is there's going to be a shortage of the food supply chain, which has been going on for years. I mean, this is what's been going on for years, but it's noticeable now. So that's going to happen, and then these big corporate entities that feed us, like McDonald's, are going away forever.
Yeah.
It's really different now.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, it's okay.
Watch the mud.
Nice and lots of people are out
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
Hi.
Hi.
It's okay. You can come through.
No, it's on. The camera's on us.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's okay.
No problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of people out today walking around, riding bikes, enjoying the blue sky. It's one of the first times we've had blue sky in, I don't know, weeks maybe. It feels like we get little patches of blue sky,
Well,
over a period of like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of rain.
A lot of rain.
And we're
So-
having more rain this weekend.
So it's
you
not
know.
cold and it's not windy and the sky is blue and the sun is out and people are saying, I've got to get out and get some exercise. People are doing it, and I'm glad to see that they're not letting fear grip them, and they're not getting into this weird feedback loop of just being completely and totally focused on the scaremongery media. There is a danger, but it's probably not the danger that you think it is.
Right.
It's a different kind of danger. And it's not going to be, jackbooted thugs kicking down your door type of fascism. It's going to be the kind of government that says, oh, well, we can't do this, and we can't do that, and you can't have this, and you can't have that.
It's going to be more of a
And-
1984 type.
Yeah, where they just kind of
Fascism.
let you go, but at the same time really control everything that you're about through your device, So that's why we spent 12 hours reading 1984 on last Sunday. We wanted to really just impress upon people that we're having a hard reset, not just in our economy, but in the way that we function as a society.
Yeah, we're being socially engineered.
Socially engineered, social deconstruction, some of the things that JP and I talked about in our hour-long audio yesterday.
Yeah, in fact, Julie already noticed different patterns of behavior
Yeah,
with some people that have already been indoctrinated is a good
Yeah.
word, yeah.
It's really sad. So where we are is near a couple of really
Large universities.
large universities, really well-known, well established universities, and so there are some students who are kind of stuck here, so they're still living in dorms, and so there's a lot of university students walking around this little wooded area that we're in, and then there's also people who enjoy it in general. People who enjoy this area who live around here. So I noticed that the university age students are like, they'll see us coming and they'll do a wide berth to make sure that they don't get at least within
vicinity.
6 feet of us. Whereas the older, like, grandma who's like out with her husband and her grandkids and all this, she's like, oh hey, what's up? She's like
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
So that's why they're keeping the elderly away from us, at least here in Pittsburgh, is because the elderly will probably say, what the fuck is this shit? And the elderly people will probably say,
Hey.
this is ridiculous. This is stupid, and that's why they're all locked away from us. Being told that they're more susceptible to whatever.
Well, they're also being told that they're a drain on society too. Or
Right,
at least
so
we're
that-
being told that.
Yeah, so
you
we're
know.
also being told that they're a drain on society in so many different ways, whether it's through Joe Biden being an ambling idiot or whatever propaganda they want to, try to impress upon us about the elderly. So I think it's really interesting that right now the target is the elderly. And it's really sad that I know people that don't have access to grandma. That's just so mean.
Yeah, we have
I mean, that's
our
just
neighbors
awful.
across the street.
Yeah, our neighbors across the street don't have access to their
And
grandma.
she's calling them all the time.
Yeah.
Why-
She's like, what's
saying,
happening?
Why can't you
she's
come to
91.
me? Why can't you-" Yeah.
She's like, what's happening? Why can't you come visit me? What the hell's going on? I'm not sick. Get your ass over here and, cut my hair. Paint my nails.
Set my
you
hair.
know?
Yeah.
Set my hair.
Yeah.
She's quite the apparently she's quite the character. I wish I could meet her someday. But the point is that they're keeping the elderly from us, not for many, many different reasons, but one of the reasons too is that elderly people, they don't have time for this shit, this nonsense, these shenanigans,
Right.
And that's exactly how they would respond to this. In fact, I just saw it today. They're like, hey, they're like close to us. They're
Right.
not social distancing. You know what I mean? So, well, we're going to wrap it up. I know. We're going to wrap it up. We just wanted to come on here and do a little pre-recorded message in our favorite little spot with the little trickle of waterfalls behind us, and, and just check in with you and take your pulse and realize that whatever it is that you're experiencing, whether it's, you might just suddenly have waves of joy and waves of giddiness, or you might plummet into the depths of despair, or you might be going stir crazy. All of these things are normal,
or just zzz,
or just not even, or flatlining emotionally, and all of these things are normal reactions to shock, and also deep denial, where you're going down this rabbit hole of researching, what viruses are and what it is, and you believe, that you really want to make sure that everybody around you is safe, and and that also is a sign of shock, is this need to find the answers, and there are no answers.
No. The only answers really are that this is being done to us, and that the pandemic is a narrative and a story. Well, they're both the same, right? Narrative and story. It's a story being told to you that isn't real.
As we go through a hard social reset, as we are thrown into the depths of soft fascism, as the economy goes through a reset and a reboot in a different way that you've never seen before,
right.
And as they drop us and they let us go to our own devices. So hopefully you have access to food and a little bit of money, and that you can try to pick up. And the thing about this is that this is your new normal, this constant state of what's going to happen next. When am I ever going to get back to my normal life? You might be asking that question for the next 20 years of your life. This is the new normal. This is it. Well, when's it going to go back to normal? There is no normal to go back to.
And if there is, it'll be in small little doses. We'll have, we'll go back to normal, and then
they'll take a little bit more away, and then they'll eke out a little bit more
right.
and take more away.
Right. And
so
multiple pandemics in the future.
Right. So what you need to do is release the idea that everything's going to go back to normal and reset, because that's not going to happen. And also stop paying attention to these dumbass press releases that, Trump and the administration and whatever future administration might come out and, because I noticed even myself that I was like, oh, Trump is going to say something and it's important and I better listen. And then I'm thinking, well, no, because we're done. They're done with us.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
So it was nice having the United States, the way it was for a little while. I never really believed it was a true democracy ever, because I've been to other countries and I've seen the way that they treat their civilians, and it's much better than the way that we've been treated throughout these hundreds of years. But it truly is over, and there is a freedom to that, and it's also really scary, and it's really confusing. And so we're just here to archive these things. We're going through a historical precedent. This is nothing like any one of us have ever experienced before.
Yeah.
You can't even look to when fascism was introduced in Nazi Germany and use that as a blueprint or a template for this, because this is so different.
I was reading a blog entry somewhere, and they used the term historical fascism or historic fascism, meaning the Nazi era, as a means of identifying that versus other types of fascism. And I think that's a really good way of thinking of that's historical, and now we're in another form.
Yeah, it's totally different. And but one thing is for certain is that your conversations, whether they are through this medium where you're just talking to people through your devices, or whether you are texting or on the phone, or even if you have an opportunity to sit down with someone and talk face to face, your conversations and your dialogue need to be 100% authentic. They need to come straight from your heart and your mind. You need to be able to take everything that you've learned and share it authentically. It's those authentic conversations where, in whatever format we have them and on whatever template we have them, that will eventually reshape the way things are now. Eventually we'll be able to, first of all, it's important that we diagnose what's happening, which is soft fascism, and then secondly, how we function within that kind of regime. We're being regime changed. So these authentic conversations, whether you believe that you're at risk of dying from a pandemic or not, you're allowed to feel those authentic emotions, whether you believe it or not, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that somebody like me who believes that it has to do with a hard reset of society and our economy and the way our the way that we are run as a society, I believe that more than I believe a pandemic. But you might believe that you're really truly at risk of dying, and that is a really truly emotion, and a real true emotion. And I just want you to know that we on this platform, we really respect that. I mean, I've been in a very scary place where I feel like I have felt where I may not survive the night, or I may not survive through the week, you know, and that is a real emotion, and you have the right to feel that. And we're not telling you that because we think differently than you that you're not allowed to feel that way. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to sign off for now, and we will see you very soon.
Okay, thanks.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you really like our work, you can help support us on a regular basis by going to patreon.com/bookofhours. For as little as $2 a month, you can sustain us and keep us working. You can also make a one-time donation at paypal.me/bookofhours. Thank you.